So, like I said, it has been a very interesting weekend, but we're in this together. I mean, I personally, spent this entire weekend with my team as well, just fact finding, digging into the details of what exactly happened at the Cubana Club in Lagos for various reasons. One, it's like, are we being serious? Like there was a shooting. 2 people were shot and injured. This really happened. And what I found really interesting would interest you as well. Now, following reports that members of Burna Boy's team shot at the club goers, I mean, this is as a result of a squabble between his team and a group of friends. Now, the woman at the center of this issue has spoken up. I mean, she is the wife to one of the people who was shot. He was grazed in the head, and a friend to the man who was shot in his thigh. Now, she spoke up to debunk rumors that she was the one who was making passes at Burna Boy, which then resulted in the fight that led to the shooting. The story initially was that Burna Boy reached out to her through one of the members of his own team because, he wasn't going to go toast her by himself in the club. And then, her friends, she told him off saying that she wasn't interested. Members of, her entire circle said the same thing. Eventually, the whole thing degenerated into a fight, which got very bloody as bullets were being sporadically shot. Now, I also reached out to certain other people with regards to this conversation who have interests in this. For instance, the Cubana Club. They themselves, the club is still running. They had parties on Friday. The Friday after the incident, which happened on a Wednesday, was popping. everybody was there clubbing like, it's just another day for us, another day of business. So I asked what exactly was going on. I tried to see if I could get them on the show. They, were not very responsive to that one. However, they did have a different side of the story, which is what some other members of the public agree, saying that, oh no, the woman was the one who was making passes at Burna Boy. That's what they had to say, and that is all that they have said. Now, they also, like I said, debunked allegations against them. With regards to them not, being caring and reaching out, they said that they have tried to reach out and they are trying to see how they can get to the root of the matter. Well, apart from them, we also try to get a statement from the police because the last statement was that the case was being investigated and we're still waiting for the fruits of that investigation. However, further attempts to reach out to the police, specifically in Lagos to see what progress has been made, what exactly is going to happen, they've all proved futile. So we are still going to keep fact-finding as much as we can. But for now, what we can tell you is Mr. Lawrence claims that he was shot in the thigh by someone from Burna Boy's team. Now, he said that this entire incident was one that has completely left him traumatized as a Burna Boy fan and as a Nigerian. And he's really, really hoping that this case does not get swept under the rug. I had a conversation with him, and here is what we spoke about.
Hi, Lawrence. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I'm so happy that you feel better and you're in a better position to have this conversation. So first question I have for you today is I want to get a better idea of everything that happened that day at the club. So just walk us through the events that played out at the Cubana Club that day that the shooting happened.
Okay, so sorry, can you hear me properly though?
I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay, so on just trying to get my dates right, but on Wednesday, it was a Tuesday night stroke Wednesday morning actually around 1 a.m. Me and my friends went to the Cubana Club in Victoria Island. Just have a nice time, most of us, our friend was having a wedding in the country and we just came to have fun basically. So we were at Cubana for quite a while, for a couple hours, just in the VIP section. We're about, give or take, say 20 people, girls, boys, my friends there, significant others. I was there with my wife, a friend was there with his wife, and the couples were there as well. So there were a lot of people just, having fun, drinking, regular club stuff. Then I think around like 3 a.m. something, Burna Boy and his crew kind of walked in. This was just a few minutes after Davido left the same section that they were in. This was on the other side of our table. So if you've ever been to Cubana, you know that it's like there's a section in the middle that's split into two. There's a section in the middle that's split into two. So we were I think we were on the left side, and Burna Boy and his crew were on the right side. So, as the night progressed, we were having fun, kind of even excited to see him pop in the club, just going with our, flow, minding our business. Then I'll say a few minutes, like say 30 minutes after they came in, somebody from their crew walked over to our table, on the other side, walked over to our table to say, like, talk to my guy's wife. Obviously, she refused his advances initially, saying, he was like, oh, Burna wants to talk to you, and blah, 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 can you come over to our section? She was like, no, I'm here with my significant other. That doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. And that was the first time, the encounter, like we had an encounter with them. So it wasn't an argument or anything. It was just she told him off. Then came back again the second time. Same thing happened. She told him off. Then, say like a few minutes later, maybe like 1 or 2 minutes later again, somebody from Burna Boy's crew again came for the third time. So it was when, like, tensions started rising, like, bro, what are you doing here? Why are you here, basically? Then an argument ensued between the guy that was sent and my friend, and a fight broke out. So as the fight started, progressing, we were going back and forth. Then the security came in to the club. The security came in, and tried to settle the first round of fracas that was going on. It was like a fight between both parties, seeing as one of their crew members attacked our friend. So that was the initial encounter. Then after the security was able to, I'll say they weren't really able to successfully quell the situation, because their crew was able to come back again and, kind of attack me, and like in a corner at the other side of the club. So with that started, one of his crew members, I don't know what it's called, but I can identify his name. I can identify his face. He pushed me.
You know what his hair was like? Do you remember his hair?
Yes, definitely. I remember what they look like. They had dreadlocks. 2 of them had dreadlocks on their head. So this whole like fracas started again. Then another fight broke out. So as the fight was progressing, security was trying to settle the situation. My friends, everybody was just going back and forth trying to settle the situation. I'll say as the fight broke out, I was slowly advancing away from the first people that initially came to attack me, because I was able to fight and break free from whatever that situation was. Then they pulled out guns, and the first shots came from the section where we were all at. I heard the first shot. As I heard the first shot, my natural instinct, as they brought out the gun, crew members brought out the gun. I also can identify a few people that brought out the gun, but I don't know who shot me, because as I heard the first shot, I was running towards the exit of the club. As I was slowly, I was bending my head trying to run towards the end of the club. As I was almost at the exit, I got hit. The bullet passed through. There were multiple shots, so I got hit by a stray bullet, obviously, as the shots were being fired inside of the club. And I kind of dropped to the floor. And as I dropped to the floor, one other crew member that was there was actually still trying to fight me as I was on the floor. He probably didn't know I was shot, but yeah, I got punched in the face as well by that person after I was shot. So I was still able to fight my way out of that. Then I slowly kind of holding my thigh, I got shot in my thigh, holding my thigh, bleeding out, trying to get to the exit of the club. As I was slowly getting to the exit of the club, my friends who was able to run, who drove me there, was already ready with the car outside, because we were ready to run away. As we heard the first shot, it was obviously when you hear gunshots inside of an enclosed area, the first instinct is to run. So it was already outside in the car waiting, and I was able to make my way outside, limping with blood-filled jeans and blood-filled body. I was able to limp and, slowly make my way to the car. So as I made my way to the car, my friend was able to drive out of the situation, even though there were still shots being fired outside as well. So there were shots being fired inside of the club, and outside of the club. That was, from my perspective, I jumped into the car. My friend was able to speed off, and luckily for me, I was taken to the Naval Hospital. That was like the closest hospital nearby, and we explained the situation to them and what happened, and they were able to bring me in and kind of give me first aid. I lost a lot of blood. I was given oxygen, and I was also given like pints of blood just to resuscitate me.
Yeah.
And that was like, from my perspective, what happened.
Okay. So can you confirm if one of the people who actually held a gun, because you said you can recall some people with a gun, if any of them, because the thing with the dreadlocks is on the day of that incident, there were certain people around Burna Boy, and there are certain people with dreadlocks that are easily identifiable. In fact, one in particular that's always around Burna Boy. So I just want to know if you can confirm that one of the people with the gun had locks. Can you confirm that, or you're not certain?
Yes, I can confirm that.
All right.
And also, to add, in this situation, my friend also got grazed with a bullet on his head. He was lucky to, have been grazed, because it could have easily gone sideways and a bullet could be in his head and he could be dead, and then it would be a whole other story, a whole other situation. So they were firing their firearms sporadically in the club, which is just purely unacceptable. In a country where guns are not licensed.
I know. I can only imagine how scary that entire situation must have been. But I'm curious, did you manage to see Burna Boy through this situation? Where was he? Was he fighting the...
So when the fracas started, he was right there sitting down at his section, just giggling. It was kind of funny to him. It wasn't funny, but once I heard the gunshots, I was out. So I can't really recall where it was, but I recall when the situation started, he was right there sitting down just laughing at the situation.
All right. Well, so far, have they reached out to your, to you, to your friends, because there's been a lot of information in the news about them interrogating Burna Boy, the police saying they've interrogated Burna Boy on the incident. His police escorts have been arrested. I know for a fact that his police escorts, none of them have dreadlocks. So I'm curious as to who is missing from that team, since you have confirmed someone with dreads had a gun. So in terms of, correspondence, has anyone reached out to you from Burna Boy's team, and have you reached out to the police, to report this incident? Maybe that would have been why they said they interrogated Burna Boy.
This is actually with the Lagos State Police Commission right now. They are currently investigating, because I made official reports to the Lagos State Police, and me and my friends that were involved in this situation have made official statements with the police, and they are currently investigating, and they said that they will get to the root of the matter, and I believe as it unfolds we'll see the work they've done so far. But as at the time I got to the police station, I heard that some of the police officers were in custody and they were being interrogated. But I can say that even if policemen were shooting, it wasn't the policemen that shot inside of the club.
I know you're a fan of Burna Boy, Lawrence. You mentioned that to me. In fact, you made a video, when he walked into the club, where you had this emotional emoji, because you actually love his music. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I do. I was actually excited when he walked into the club. Maybe. So yeah, I made a video. I posted it on my Snapchat of them walking in and all that. So yeah, I've always been a fan of his music.
So now, with this incident that has happened, how do you still feel knowing that, Burna Boy was involved in a situation that could have taken your life or the life of your friend? And this is an artist, a Grammy-winning artist, who a lot of people aspire to be like, who spends a significant amount of time within the United States of America, where we also have conversations around gun control. How do you feel about same artist that you say you're a huge fan of right now?
I'll say I'm disappointed, like he sings, he has, music that kind of speaks about things like this, and, for him and his people to carry on like this, kind of very reckless and just in an oppressive manner, because I feel like other than the situation, they were just probably trying to, oppress us for no apparent reason. That's just horrible on his part, but he has good music, and we can't take that away from him. But his character is nothing to write home about. At least from my experience, it's just kind of horrible. But I'll say that you live and you learn.
You live and you learn. Okay, so I know you don't live here. You are Nigerian, but you came into, that's one of the conversations that's also been, spread around. You came into the country, for an event. Following this incident, in terms of security around public places, like the club in itself, Cubana, what made you go there? I mean, Lagos is home to a plethora of clubs, and you chose to go to this particular one with your friends. So after this incident, did they reach out as well to you? Did they reach out to you in any way to apologize? We're sorry about what happened. Did anything like that happen?
They've not reached out to me to apologize or be sorry. When I was being resuscitated in the hospital, I heard the manager was there, but at the same time, I am actually highly disappointed in the club as well, because when this story was reported to the police, they actually lied to the police and said nothing like that happened in the club. So that was the first situation that just made me know that that's horrible. And also, their security is kind of horrible, because even if people are carrying firearms, you shouldn't allow people bring firearms into the club. They literally claim they don't let policemen and all security operatives into the club with firearms, but you allowed individuals with unlicensed firearms, because I know they don't really license firearms, especially the kind of firearm they shot me with in Nigeria. So I feel like, that was just very reckless, and they definitely endangering the public by doing that, by allowing, maybe people because of their status or because of who they know to just walk in and waltz out with no security measures whatsoever.
You mentioned something right now that I found really interesting, the type of firearm that you were shot with. Seeing as, you have been going to the hospital, have you been able to identify the sort of firearm that the bullets, basically that hit you that day?
No, but I will be able to, because I had a surgery earlier, a minor surgery to remove like just a little fragment from some area on my body. Then I'm actually going back to have the main bullet taken out from my leg. So definitely be able to know what kind of firearm it is. But based on the x-rays, just one bullet laid in my leg. So to be taken out, then we'll be able to identify what kind of firearm it was.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't no local gun, because it wasn't pellets. It was a real lead bullet.
All right. Now, before I let you go, there's this fear, there's this popular phrase, waiting then go through. That's how Nigerians say it. Is there some type of fear that you might have that this might just be swept under the rug? And
yeah, I don't know.
nothing?
If, for example, like, as you said, waiting then go do. Well, if I feel like I have the responsibility to make them pay, if not for anything, for this situation not to happen again to anybody else, I'm from Nigeria, but I don't live in Nigeria, and I want people to feel like they can come back home and be safe, and stuff like this won't happen to them. And if we don't, put pressure and press the people that are involved in this, which is Burna Boy's crew and Cubana as well, if we don't put pressure and both legally and from the police, this will continue happening, and this will happen to somebody that doesn't have a voice or somebody that doesn't know anybody. We don't even know. We can't say officially how many people got shot on that day, because, as I said, they were shooting sporadically. There were probably people that were shot or were hit and were not supposed to be there, that are not coming out to say anything. There were probably people that their property got destroyed that are not out here saying nothing. But, I'm here, and I'll make sure that I follow this to the full extent of the law. So
Lawrence, we
I'll
will.
definitely be pressing charges both here and abroad.
All right. Well, Lawrence, we are definitely looking forward to seeing this come to its complete fruition, which is the guilty parties paying for the crimes that have been committed, because in fact, this is a crime. I would like to say thank you so much for speaking to us on Advice 360. We're definitely going to be in touch, and I wish you a very quick and safe recovery.
Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me your time as well. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.